Live from WRAL News Headquarters in Raleigh, your #1 source for local news. WRAL News, coverage you can count on.
A Raleigh man accused of sexually assaulting 2 women. Why investigators believe there may be more victims.
And more houses in danger. 7 homes crashed into the sea in the Outer Banks this week, and others are just about to. We have a live update on the situation in Buxton.
And it was a refreshing start out there this morning. We're going to see a beautiful afternoon. I'll show you how long the cooler temperatures will stick around.
A lot to tell you about here at this noon hour. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Renee Chu.
And I'm Michelle McConaughey. Thanks for joining us. A Raleigh man is facing rape charges after police say he used a remodeling business to target women.
42-year-old Jose Cartagena Guzman faces 3 charges for rape and kidnapping. WRAL's Sean Gallagher is live in Durham, where he is being held. Sean.
Yeah, he is being held on a $300,000 bond here in Durham County. And Cartagena Guzman is accused of raping a woman here in Durham back in July, and he was arrested last month. Now, Durham police and U.S. Marshals arrested Cartagena Guzman in Virginia, and he's charged with 2 counts of rape and 1 count of kidnapping. Police believe he is the owner of JCG Remodeling LLC and used that business to target women. However, when we searched for that company in state databases, it didn't pop up. But Durham police
Happening now in the WRAL Live Center. We're following this news out of Paris. The Eiffel Tower is closed today because of a major strike that's been happening in Paris and really all over France. So you can see this photo here from AP News showing you a sign outside of the Eiffel Tower explaining that it's closed. And we'll also check out the official Eiffel Tower website. The banner there at the top is informing any visitors that it is closed for today. Now, protesters took to the streets of more than 200 towns and cities all across France. We'll see if we can show you a photo of those protesters here now. But this is the latest on protests in France as people are calling out the government. They're all demanding spending cuts and higher taxes on the rich. So we'll be sure to follow this here in the WRAL Live Center. 2 people were killed and 3 others were seriously injured after a man rammed a car into a crowd at a synagogue in Manchester, England. It came as the Jewish community observed Yom Kippur, the holiest day on the Jewish calendar. Greater Manchester police confirmed the 2 deaths in a statement on X and said the suspect was also dead. Police say after the man drove the car into the crowd, he stabbed another man before police shot the suspect. British Prime Minister Keir Starmer says the government is responding swiftly with more police presence added at synagogues across the UK.
I will chair an emergency COBRA meeting. I'm already able to say that additional police assets are being deployed to synagogues across the country, and we will do everything to keep our Jewish community safe.
Manchester was the site of Britain's deadliest attack in recent years. The 2017 suicide bombing at an Ariana Grande concert killed 22 people.
The World Food Program sounded the alarm today that Haiti is on the brink of collapse. Officials say that rising violence by armed groups in Haiti's capital is restricting humanitarian access and pushing families deeper into hunger. Armed gangs are thought to control nearly 90% of Port-au-Prince. More than 1 million people have been forced to leave their homes in search of food and shelter. The World Food Program says more than half of those displaced are children who are now victims of malnutrition and lack of access to education and other essential services. Nearly 20 Gaza aid ships have been stopped by Israeli forces, one of those ships carrying activist Greta Thunberg. New photos show her and others on board the ship being transported to Israel. She is part of the flotilla that included more than 40 civilian boats and around 500 activists. Israel boarded the ships about 70 nautical miles off the coast of Gaza. Israel had previously said it would do whatever it took to stop the flotilla, claiming that the fleet was attempting to breach a naval blockade.
FCC Chair Brendan Carr has agreed to testify before the Senate following the temporary suspension of Jimmy Kimmel's late night show. After speaking with the Senate Commerce Committee Chair Ted Cruz, Carr decided to testify. Kimmel's show was pulled off the air on September 17th after comments during his monologue about Charlie Kirk's assassination. The show returned on September 23rd. The date for the hearing has not been set. Trump advisor Corey Lewandowski warns that ICE officers will attend the Super Bowl 60 in Santa Clara. Why is that a big deal? Well, because Puerto Rican native Bad Bunny is set to perform the halftime show. In an online interview, Lewandowski said there is nowhere you can provide safe haven to people who are in this country illegally, not the Super Bowl and nowhere else.
Police in California's East Bay area are looking for a man who stole a beloved plastic dinosaur from a gas station. The crime was caught on security camera. Dino Claire is a 4-foot-tall fiberglass dinosaur and unofficial mascot of Brentwood. Employees often dressed her for the holidays, sometimes in Dodger blue. She wasn't just a statue, she was a selfie star, a neighborhood landmark, and a daily sense of joy. In the security video here, you can see the thief in a hoodie casually just stroll up with a power tool, cuts her free from her base, and minutes later, he's back with a blanket, wrapping the 50-pound mascot and loading her into a white getaway truck.
Beyond like the initial, I guess, grief that comes with the dinosaur going, it's just like a why. Like why would they take the dinosaur? I just don't get it at all. It really makes no sense. There's no monetary gain for starters, but also it's like taking a piece of the neighborhood away from us.
Well, since the theft, the gas station has been flooded with phone calls and flowers. People actually sending flowers. Hopefully they can find her soon, because what on earth, what would possess somebody to steal something
That
like
is
that?
a big question, why? And can't imagine you could hide that for very long.
No.
What a joy stealer.
Bizarre.
I
All
know.
right.
But our weather today is bringing us a lot of joy. Let's check in with meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. And this is what fall it looks like and feels like, and it's so nice.
I like to call it Goldilocks weather. It's just perfect. Not too warm, not too cold. It's so nice out here on the patio. We've got more beautiful weather in our forecast for the next several days. What we don't have in our forecast anymore is either Umberto or Imelda. Imelda is now post-tropical. What that means is it no longer has any tropical characteristics. And there are many elements that make up a tropical system. It has to have a warm core, it has to have a closed circulation, all these rules. It also has to have winds to be a hurricane at 74 miles per hour or stronger. So it's a very strong, but just regular low pressure system. Of course, it moved over Bermuda last night. It's moving fast at about 30 miles per hour to the northeast, and it'll make a northerly and then another northeasterly turn as a strong low pressure system, but no longer have any tropical characteristics. We take another look at the gardens right behind me. It's so pretty out here. 69 is our temperature. Our dew point's 51, and that's nice and comfortable. We check some temperatures. We have hit 70 in Fayetteville and 72 in Clinton, as well as Goldsboro and in Rocky Mount. Still 68 in Roxborough, 69 in Durham. So it feels great out there, right around the triangle. We're mostly in the upper 60s, 68 in Holly Springs, 69 in Cary and Morrisville, 66 in Durham, 65 in Chapel Hill. It is a little breezy. You can probably tell from my hair, which I don't mind, it's fine. It feels good out here. Our winds are coming out of the northeast, steady at 13 in Durham and 11 in Fayetteville. So steady winds are in the blue box on the right and gusts, on the left, and the white box on the right is where our wind gusts are. So we're gusting to 24 in the triangle, gusting to 21 in Rocky Mount, 16 in Goldsboro, 21 in Fayetteville. A little less than yesterday, but it's pretty breezy out here, and we'll continue to see gusty winds, mainly from, say, 20 to 25 miles per hour through the afternoon. 72 is our forecast high for Raleigh, 71 in Durham, and 76 in Fayetteville. The cool air is going to stick around, at least for the next
Now that we're in October, the countdown to Halloween begins. But this year, tariffs have put a terrifying effect on spending. Jen Sullivan looks at what will cost more this year.
It's October, and that means rolling out the pumpkins, ghosts, and goblins. But the most frightful thing about Halloween this year may just be the prices as shoppers feel the impact of tariffs and inflation.
Tariffs this year are on people's minds.
Catherine Cullen with the National Retail Federation says they saw people start shopping in September or earlier for Halloween because they're worried items will cost more, so they're spreading out their purchases.
Many of those costs haven't yet been passed on to consumers. It is impacting certain goods differently. We may be seeing it a little bit more in non-durable goods.
President Donald Trump implemented tariffs on a variety of imported goods to encourage companies to make products in the U.S. According to the Alliance for American Manufacturing, virtually all Halloween costumes on the market are imported, which means they'll be subject to tariffs. But Collins says tariffs have affected certain goods differently.
Less than a quarter of tariff costs have been passed on to consumers.
Candy and sweets prices are also up from a year ago, according to the latest Consumer Price Index. Shoppers are spending more on Halloween this year. The NRF says people are spending about $114 per person. That's nearly $11 more than last year.
In times of uncertainty, and we've seen this starting with the pandemic, during times of inflation and others, people are turning to these celebrations, these fun holidays where no matter what's going on in the world, you can dress up in something fun.
If those prices are giving you a scare, there are ways to save. Cullen suggests shopping at discount stores, reusing decorations, and getting crafty with costumes and decor.
That was Jen Sullivan reporting. Finding food during the government shutdown, how the stalemate could impact federal nutrition programs in local communities.
And it's all about timing, the science behind why the best time to get a flu shot is in October.
And here's a look at the winning North Carolina Education Lottery numbers.
Shot in 4K ultra high definition. Your number one source for local news. WRAL News. Coverage you can count on.
As the nation enters day 2 of the government shutdown, many local food banks and outreach programs are preparing for an increase in clients.
Many organizations are bracing for higher demand while working to keep the shelves stocked. WRAL's Flynn Snyder joins us live with the steps food banks are taking right now to meet the demand, Flynn.
Michelle Renee, inside at the Interfaith Food Shuttle's HQ here in Raleigh, they are helping churches and other local food banks prepare and organize emergency boxes. The food shuttle serves 7 counties in North Carolina, and with roughly 52,000 federal civilian workers in the state, many facing the possibility of being furloughed, the food shuttle says lines at food banks could grow the longer the shutdown lasts. It comes during an already tough year for many food banks that have lost funding and other federal resources. The food shuttle CEO says that is not stopping the work, but is making it more challenging.
In spite of the federal cuts in commodities, they are still pooling resources and trying to bring in food from every angle that they can to prepare these emergency boxes to make sure that their local pantries remain stocked, because we do expect to see those lines increase.
So with no end to the federal shutdown in sight, the food shuttle says they are stepping up and expediting their outreach programs that help those facing hunger build self-sufficiency and resiliency. Flynn Snyder, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
The shutdown may, however, underway. Active members of the military are considered essential workers, and that means they continue to report to work without being paid. The wife of a Marine who lives in Jacksonville, North Carolina, says the last shutdown put a big financial strain on her family.
It means a lot of different things for a lot of different people, but to me it means you're messing with mine and my husband's livelihood. More so my husband's than mine, because that is his paycheck, but it still helps take care of us.
Some military officers are closed. Civilian workers who are not responsible for essential duties are furloughed.
A man accused of killing his girlfriend in Wake Forest is expected back in court later this month. Harrison Jose Urena Morales made his first court appearance yesterday. He's accused of shooting Josefina Tavares. Police found her with a single gunshot wound in a neighborhood near Mill Dam Road. She later died at the hospital. Morales told a judge, quote, "I was forced to do it." His next court appearance will be October 22nd.
A family of 6 in Wake County is out of their home this morning after a car crashed into it. This is a scene from Gentle Valley Lane near Lake Benson late Tuesday evening. A car plowed into the mobile home. Neighbors say this is not the first time this has happened. We spoke with the family who lived in the home about what happened.
Kind of hurt my heart because I just realized that we didn't have anywhere to stay right now. I think they probably need a better fence, not a wooden fence, probably like a metal fence and make it a little bit higher.
We've reached out to the Highway Patrol for information about the driver and what caused the crash. We have not heard back.
The state's largest health insurer is announcing voluntary separation packages for some employees. Blue Cross North Carolina says it fell short of its 2025 financial plan. A company spokesperson says the rising cost of health care, market volatility, and other factors continue to put a strain on the entire healthcare system. Blue Cross North Carolina did not say how many employees will be impacted.
Families and educators in Wake County are calling on county commissioners to address unsafe school conditions. The Wake chapter of the North Carolina Association of Educators brought those concerns to county leaders last night. They say failing HVAC systems, mold, and a lack of security are creating dangerous conditions for students. Advocates say a proposed $700 million bond is not enough to cover the crisis, and they want to see more investment.
With schools that have multiple buildings on site, or even here at Dillard Drive where there's modulars outside and kids have to come inside, we want to make sure the locks are working and they can get in and out and the doors closed properly and all of those things, having vestibules in the front, right? These are things we've heard from workers as well that are health and safety concerns too.
County Commissioners Vicki Adamson and Cheryl Stallings were at the meeting. They say they support the bond proposal, but they can't commit to supporting more money without having more information.
Nearly 400 hours of historic radio broadcasts are returning to North Carolina Central University. The HBCU Radio Preservation Project finds and digitizes old recordings and returns them to the universities. Central's collection includes original programming from its jazz station WNCU 90.7, which first went on air in August of 1995. The station's general manager says this project will allow a new generation of people to hear recordings that shaped Black history in North Carolina.
We actually just compiled all of that information together through looking through our cabinets, file cabinets, and boxes of things that we just had and we held on to. It wasn't even transformed or converted to our archives collection here at the university yet, but we just knew that this was something that was going to be something paramount for us one day.
Central plans to incorporate the recordings into audio production classes. Central is one of 30 HBCUs with a radio station.
The countdown is on to the North Carolina State Fair. It's beginning to look like fair season over at the fairgrounds. Take a look. Some of the rides have already arrived. And one thing you'll notice this year, some brand new restrooms. You can find these newly built facilities across from the old grist mill. And for those with little kids or for people who have special needs, great news. There are some family rooms added there as well. Saving on laundry. It's a chore that's not going away. 5 on Your Side is helping you get it done for less money.
Plus, the simple adjustment to a room that researchers say could improve both the sleep and the mood of patients with dementia. Doing laundry might cost more than you think. It requires hundreds of gallons of water and lots of electricity each year. As 5 on Your Side's Ashley Rose shows us, a few tweaks in your laundry routine can save you money in the long run.
You may not even need some of the laundry products you're buying. Consumer Reports says you can ditch fabric softener and dryer sheets.
Fabric softeners can leave a residue on your clothes, can reduce the absorbency of your towels. It can cause buildup in your machine. Dryer sheets can also leave a residue on your clothes and the moisture sensor in your dryer, which can cause it to run longer.
If skipping the dryer sheets has you stuck with static, consider using a reusable wool dryer ball instead. Use a high-performing laundry detergent, and remember, it's so super concentrated you only need about 1.5 ounces. In CR tests, Tide Plus Ultra Stain Release comes out on top for those tough stains like grass and chocolate. But if you're just dealing with everyday messes, Costco's Kirkland Signature detergent gets the job done and saves you money. You can also skip the hot water. Heating is where 90% of your washer's energy use goes. Cold water is better for maintaining colors and preventing shrinking. Finally, clean out your dryer's lint filter every time you use it. It'll dry your clothes faster, which can also help lower your energy bills. Ashley Rowe, 5 on your side.
Amazon announces an expansion of its grocery brand aimed at making food essentials more affordable for consumers. The company launched Amazon Grocery. The new private label grocery collection will feature more than 1,000 items, from produce to meat. Amazon says most items under the label will cost under $5. The new brand merges Happy Belly and Amazon Fresh into one streamlined grocery lineup.
Microsoft is doubling down on price increases for its Xbox video game system. The company is raising prices for the console's top subscription tier by 50%. That brings the cost of an Xbox Game Pass Ultimate to $30 per month or $360 per year. Gamers took to social media to complain about the price hike, with many saying they're canceling.
The right light for patients with dementia. Just ahead, why researchers say natural lighting can benefit people who have Alzheimer's disease.
Plus, it's October, why this may be the best month to get your flu shot.
Raleigh firefighters are only able to respond quickly to emergencies, the union says, because of all of the overtime they're working.
Yeah, without that, they say entire trucks would be unstaffed. WRAL Investigates Sarah Kruger breaks down the numbers and the impact.
We'll have a full report on this tonight. Now, this story came about because I filed a public records request with the city of Raleigh for all of the overtime data, and it showed that the fire department worked more overtime hours than anyone else, in total racking up roughly $5 million in overtime in just 1 year. While the extra money is nice, the president of the Raleigh Professional Firefighters Association says it is unsustainable.
Are firefighters getting burned out from all these extra hours?
I feel like they are. It's like a mortgage you'll never pay off, basically. There is no end in sight.
Tonight, I'm asking him what the solutions are, why he says this is about a lot more than just salary. Sarah Kruger, WRAL News in Raleigh.
Certain light settings could help promote better sleep and moods for people with dementia. That's according to researchers at Arizona State University. They say lighting that mimics the color, temperature, and patterns of natural daylight greatly improves sleep time for older adults with dementia by roughly 82 minutes. It's called biodynamic lighting. The study took place at an Arizona memory care facility. Teams measured sleep levels for 10 dementia patients in their 70s for 7 weeks under various lighting conditions.
The feedback that we received from the caregivers, and they said that older adults were happier, more active, and more energetic when the lights were in the facility.
Teams at ASU say these findings could be expanded to explore how light settings might improve health in other situations.
Medical experts are urging people to get their flu vaccine, and they say October is ideally the month to do it. Flu cases usually begin to rise in November, and doctors say the best way to protect yourself is to get vaccinated now. The U.S. saw its highest number of flu-related child deaths since 2009, just last winter. Everyone 6 months and older is eligible to get the flu vaccine.
It's really important. It's preventable. These are effective. They're safe. Again, it's a very serious illness. It can cause very severe illness, hospitalizations, and even death, and it does that every year.
Health departments, pharmacies, and many grocery stores all provide the flu vaccine. All right, it is feeling like fall out there. What a beautiful day. Meteorologist Elizabeth Garner is so lucky she is outside on the WRAL weather patio. Elizabeth, enjoying that beautiful fall air.
Yeah, it feels so nice out here right now. As a matter of fact, we're starting to get a little bit of shade from some of the trees behind me, and it feels very, very comfortable. Just a little while ago, we talked about the fact that Imelda is now post-tropical. That means that it no longer has any tropical characteristics, and it is just a low pressure system at this point. But it still has winds at 75 miles per hour, or it did in that final advisory. We've seen the last advisory issued by the National Hurricane Center. And of course, it will continue to travel eastward away from Bermuda, away from the United States, moving northward and dissipating in the North Atlantic. But of course, Imelda, along with Umberto, have brought some flooding and erosion to parts of Hatteras Island, Buxton in particular. We heard from Donnie Bowers just a little while ago, earlier in our newscast. He was talking about just how unusual these conditions are. Already 7 homes have fallen in the water in the last couple of days, and it looks like there are more in line for that to happen. Typically, we see these maybe in Rodanthe where we lose one here, one there. But this is a lot of homes, as you can see there, all the water coming up under them. So a bad situation for folks there. We do continue some rough impact, even though the storms are continuing to move hundreds and hundreds of miles away. High surf continues along parts of the Outer Banks, flooding at 2 to 3 feet above normal. And of course, we have overwash on Highway 12 and parts of that highway are closed. Just encouraging you not to travel to the Outer Banks, especially Hatteras Island for the weekend. It is going to be a beautiful weekend along the coast, but rip current danger will be moderate to high. Our southern beaches, say Atlantic Beach southward, don't have the same sort of damage that we saw up around the Outer Banks. So you can travel there and enjoy the beach, but I would not get in the water. It's still going to be dangerous. All right, tropical outlook, 10% chance that a storm develops over the Bahamas and moves across Florida. And another one coming across or off the coast of Africa could develop in the next 7 days, but it's only a 20% chance. With the rain that we saw from Imelda and Umberto earlier in the week, we did end up seeing some good rainfall in some places, especially, say, Siler City up past Durham. We ended up with anywhere from 1.5 inches to almost 2 inches. And then from Raleigh eastward, it was much lighter. We ended up only seeing about 1/10 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch. So that's where we are now seeing some drought problems. The area there in Brown is where we have moderate drought. And this is a much wider area in our viewing area with moderate drought than we saw last week. So our drought situation is still pretty rough. Of course, we saw that rain earlier in the week. On Tuesday is when they shut off adding any more rainfall into consideration. So maybe things will change a little bit next week, but we don't have a whole lot more rain in the forecast. It's beautiful, though. We have just a 20% chance on Sunday and Monday. Lots of events happening over the weekend. It'll be dry and comfortable. For tomorrow, the high temperature 74, 79 Saturday, wide open music festival in downtown Raleigh, and so many other events. Campbell plays at NC State and Clemson plays at UNC. Those games are around the middle of the day, and temperatures will be in the upper 60s to low 70s. We do climb into the 80s on Monday and Tuesday. Next best chance of rain doesn't come until next Wednesday.
Thanks, Elizabeth. Still ahead, pink police cars.
Why the men and women in blue will be driving around in cruisers the color of Pepto-Bismol.
And here's a look at your winning Powerball numbers. 8, 17, 22, 28, 55. The Powerball is 14. The multiplier is 3.
As we wrap things up, here's a look at a few of the headlines we are following today.
A Raleigh man is facing rape charges after police say he used a remodeling business to target women. 42-year-old Jose Cartagena Guzman faces 3 charges for rape and kidnapping. He's accused of raping a woman in Durham in July. He was arrested in Virginia. Police believe he is the owner of JCG Remodeling LLC and used that business to target women. There could be other victims.
Tonight, the city of Rocky Mount is hosting public meetings as it faces a budget crisis. The city is being forced to cut millions of dollars from its budget in less than a year. Though all departments will have some reductions, including police and fire positions. Tonight's session starts at 6:30 at Ebenezer Baptist Church.
It's day 2 of the government shutdown, and many local food banks and outreach programs are preparing for an increase in demand. The Interfaith Food Shuttle is helping local churches and food banks organize emergency boxes. The organization is also expediting outreach programs that help those facing hunger build resiliency and self-sufficiency.
A slithery surprise snuck up on employees and guests at an In-N-Out Burger restaurant in the Los Angeles area. Look at this. An employee discovered a python in the drive-thru lane. What? He took the snake to the Pasadena Humane Society. And after the story first aired on local news in LA, the owner came forward. He says the snake had been missing for about 2 months, and he has no idea how it managed to escape his San Bernardino home. And I don't know, wanted a burger or something? Like, what?
Yeah, before that, sounds like it was on quite the adventure to be gone that long.
Wow.
Police officers in several New Jersey departments are thinking pink this month. This marks the 7th year squad cars will be wrapped in pink. That's to mark the start of Breast Cancer Awareness Month. The pink cruisers are to remind women to book their mammogram. Each pink car even features a QR code that can be scanned to schedule a screening.
Good grief, Charlie Brown. The Peanuts gang are celebrating a big birthday. Charlie Brown, Snoopy, and the rest of the iconic characters turned 75 years old. Charles Schulz's Peanuts comic strip began October 2nd, 1950.